still my town. My town.
Hello, welcome back to Connecting Clarkston. We're in season 3, episode 2. Today, Katie and I are sitting down with a very special guest, Carrie Wheeler, the manager of diagnostic imaging at McLaren, Oakland. And it's very appropriate because October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yes.
And if you are watching us, you can see that they have pink on, very appropriate. I do not, but it's in my heart. And I'm thinking about it.
I should have brought you some.
I know. I did text Katie. I was like, oh, are you wearing pink? I thought of it too late, but love the pink outfit.
Thank you.
And the shoes.
And the shoes.
Gosh,
And
how
the
cute.
shoes.
I know. Can we flash the shoes up to the camera? Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank
We
you for
appreciate
having
it.
me. I really appreciate it.
I'm sure it's a busy month for you guys.
It is really busy,
at McLaren,
but
so.
happy to be here.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so we always start with tell us about your connection to Clarkston and our community.
Okay, so although I didn't grow up here, I've lived in the area for about 30 years, and it's home to me.
Yeah.
I started at McLaren Clarkston in 2009. We've been there about 15 years now, a little over 15. I think May was our anniversary. And really, when McLaren started in Clarkston, it was new. The name was new. Not a lot of people knew who McLaren was 15 years ago. We didn't have any sites in Clarkston, and I really wanted to start getting involved in the community, start networking. So really connected with the Clarkston Area Chamber of Commerce at that time, the senior center, met some wonderful ladies there, did some community events with them, Clarkston Community Schools. We hosted and collaborated on our Football for a Cure. Just met some wonderful people, really started to get involved in community events and to promote McLaren, and at the same time we offered some really amazing quality services essentially in the backyard of a lot of patients, so we wanted to showcase that.
Yeah.
I have a question as far as like the evolution of McLaren's buildings. Have you guys always been, because right now you're off of Sashba, correct? Was there a location before that, or was that the first spot?
That was the first
Okay.
for McLaren
in this
Clarkston.
area?
Yes.
Okay. And were you there from the beginning? When did that?
Yeah, we opened our doors May 4th, 2009.
Okay.
And so, yes, I started actually in March preparing, but
Okay.
yeah, I've been there since day one.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Well, I haven't been in the waiting room in a while, but Katie said make sure we ask about the decorations and the current decor.
Well, so I had gone in for a mammogram, I think last month, and I feel like whenever I'm in there, I always feel like I need to take a picture of myself getting my mammogram and like not actually getting the mammogram, like getting ready to get the mammogram and share it out. And then I went over to like the little waiting room, which I think I was only there for like 2 minutes. You guys are so speedy.
Thank you.
But it's decorated just so cute. And I was like very interested in where all the decor comes from, who takes care of that. And so if you can tell us about that.
Sure, I'd love to. So we have a really dedicated, passionate team at the breast center. I'm proud to work with each and every one of them. And so the bras that you were admiring, so we made those.
Okay.
It was a team project, team building project that we all came up with our own individual ideas. We spent time Google searching what we wanted to create. We all gathered our supplies and we met at one of our leads' house one Friday night and sat around our table and just started crafting. And we had a lot of glue sticks or glue guns plugged in that night, but that's where those creations came from. And so then we decided to display them in the waiting room for the patients to enjoy. And
yeah, they're so cute. I feel like they could be auction items. I mean, who knows with glue sticks how long they would last, but...
Well, we've joked that,
Yeah.
you could probably, a couple of them could pull it off and, wear it under a blazer or something because they are very fashionable. And so the patients do love them, to your point.
Yeah.
I'll walk down the hall and they're snapping photos of the bras that we have hanging up there. And
I went back to take a photo, but
you?
somebody else was sitting in there, and I was like, oh, that's going to be real weird. So I did not, but...
We had a patient that was so inspired by our bras. she came to the front window, I don't know, a couple months after her appointment, and she gave me a bra that she had decorated, and it was stunning. It's beautiful. I put it in a shadow box, and it's hanging up in our waiting room now to sell from an inspired patient. So
that's very cool.
and then the tree you saw,
Yes.
that actually was donated to us by our CEO, previous CEO, Tracy Franovich. She was at a charity auction, and they were auctioning off the trees, and she saw the pink tree and thought of the breast center, so she bid on it for us. And so I received a phone call one day from McLaren Macomb, and they said, "Carrie, we have your tree." I said, "My tree?" And so so anyway, they delivered our beautiful tree. Her name is Lola. She came with a name. She was like a casino type themed tree. So
That's very cool.
It is so cool.
Well, it seems like there's so much awareness about breast cancer. Like, the NFL does their thing, and it seems like all the major sports teams, and I feel like there's a lot of awareness and a lot of promotion of it. Like, how do you think it's helped with prevention and like just this awareness in general with prevention and treatment for breast cancer in general? I know it's a huge question, but just in general.
yeah, I think it's all great. I love seeing all the pink, the crucial catch that they have going on right now with the American Cancer Society. I think all of it is great because it's raising awareness, right? We are very busy. Most women are extremely busy, and we tend to put our health and stuff on back burners, right? So that may be from, delaying our screenings or our physicals. But this month is really the reminder. Like, if you haven't done it, get in there and do it. So I'm thankful for the month because it really is. It's all about early detection. That the sooner we find something, the better the outcome. So I'm thankful for the NFL and baseball leagues, soccer leagues, whether it's local or national, whatever it is, it helps and it makes a difference.
I think too, it's made it such like a topic that we can talk about. Where I keep, as I was thinking we were going to do this, I kept thinking of this story of my aunt and thinking I probably should not tell this because it's just so silly, but I'm going to. And I remember when I was young shopping with my aunt, and she would refer to bras as arbs, which is bra backwards, because she did not want to be out in the world saying bra.
That's
Which
interesting.
I'm like, gosh, I feel like we've come so far as a society where I feel like it's something that we're aware of, we're talking about it.
It's important to talk about and to know our own personal risks, know what our density is, have those conversations with your doctor. As patients come in, we want to have that conversation too. One, we want you to know that we're going to take great care of you. We want an open line of communication. You hear a lot of patients saying it's uncomfortable. And for a few seconds, maybe, right? But having that open line of communication, we can always reposition a patient, and it doesn't take long, to your point. It really makes a difference having it done.
I think too, I'd always heard so much about how uncomfortable it was that I was shocked at how uncomfortable it was not. I felt like, and maybe everybody's experience is different, but I feel like it has to happen, and I don't think that should be a deterrent.
Right. Yeah. So for all of you out there that haven't had your mammogram done, please, please, please come see us so we can take care of you and get you screened.
What is the recommendation currently? Because I feel like that's changed also on frequency.
Yes. So it just depends on what society, so to speak, your provider is going to follow. So my recommendation is to talk to your provider, your primary care, your OB, whoever you see, and have those conversations with. Because the Society of Breast Imaging, the American Cancer Society, depends on who you're looking at. The task force, they all may have different recommendations. So that's really between you and your provider.
Okay.
And I'll say this, just speaking for myself, I feel like, so I work for a dental office, and we get a lot of this too, where treatment's dictated by insurance. And I do hate that. And I know for me, I feel like maybe my doctor was saying 45. Does that sound like something? I feel like maybe it was going to be 40. And I think at 38, I was like, I really think I should do this. I'm adopted. I don't have a family history. And thankfully, we had an HSA where if my insurance wasn't going to cover it, I could cover it with that. But I do just want to mention, like, your insurance provider sometimes should not be making those decisions.
Right.
And if
100%.
there's a reason to get it, you know, better to be safe than delay finding
Personally,
something
I
out.
started at 35.
Yeah.
Just because we see what we see, right?
Yes.
So in health, to your point about the insurance, they will cover a screening mammogram once a year typically. So regardless of the recommendations, if you're 40 and you have it every year, it's typically going to be covered.
And is that something too where people can call and talk to your people and they can help them figure out that end of it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. And we have, and most do nowadays, 3D imaging. And when 3D first came out, a lot of payers didn't cover 3D. So, but now they're all on board. So I recommend if you're having a mammogram, make sure you're getting a 3D mammogram, especially if you have dense breast tissue. I'm sure you've heard about it in the news. Breast density is a hot topic right now, and I don't think it's going to stop. Knowing your breast density is key, because if you have dense breast tissue, you may need some supplemental imaging, whether it be an ultrasound or an MRI. So talk to your doctor, look at your results. We are governed, mammography facilities, by the state, by our accrediting body, and by the FDA. And we're required to tell patients what their breast density is. So that will come to every patient in a result letter. So knowing that, that's, you know, we want the patient to be informed, to know, to ask the questions of the doctor or at the imaging center when they're there.
And then you guys have a screening event coming up?
We do. And again, to promote early detection, we're at our clinic, we're offering free clinical breast exams for patients. So if you're interested, you can call 248-922-6635. Option 1 will get you scheduled, and it's completely free.
And what is it a specific day or this whole month?
It's running October 24th, but we are scheduling on alternate days too if that date doesn't work for a patient that needs to come in. And we have some great partners through Oakland County, the BCCCP program for patients that if they come in and they don't have insurance coverage, we have an outlet to work with them to get them an application to get them signed up for free mammograms if they need it.
Nice. And have there, aside from annual mammograms, are there other things that are recommended for prevention and that type of behavior that we could discuss?
As far as screening mammogram is the first for prevention, and then the radiologist may recommend something within the report. But I did want to mention newly that we just implemented in June. Any patient that's having a screening mammogram at our site, we now are having them do a high-risk assessment. And so that helps as well identify if a patient's at high hereditary risk or high lifetime risk of developing breast cancer. It's a very detailed report that we're providing the patient and the physician, so they have the information. Some patients may need to follow up at a high-risk clinic, which we also have on our Clarkston campus as well. So, and again, knowing your breast density, putting all that information together and getting your annual screenings, that's really the key.
Is that a different test you're talking about, or is that just more information from
It's
the mammogram?
information. So after a screening mammogram is scheduled, a link gets sent to a patient, and they have to fill out an assessment on their family history, you know, their personal history that we typically intake on site, and we still do, but this will calculate a score, a percentage score of their actual lifetime risk.
And they take that number and then talk with their doctor about different options?
Yes.
Is that the idea? Okay.
Yes, and the letter that we send them gives them, if they're at a higher risk, recommendations of what the next step should be.
Okay, interesting. You had mentioned a state certification, but I know we wanted to talk about the ACR Breast Imaging Center of Excellence seal. Let's
we're
talk about
very
that.
proud of that. So, like I mentioned, we're governed by quite a bit in breast imaging, and all for good reason. Quality is very important. Mammography facilities have to be accredited by the American College of Radiology. So anywhere you go, they have to have that seal. what's different about our site is we went a step further as soon as we opened, and we had all of our equipment accredited. We didn't have to do that. We wanted to do that to showcase our commitment to quality. So that's where that Center of Excellence seal, that's where that comes from. And so we have to maintain that accreditation. Every year I'm going through a different accreditation, whether it be with our ultrasound equipment, our stereotactic equipment, or our mammography equipment. So we're all really proud of that. It's a lot of work, but all for quality, which we all strive for.
Yeah. Has the technology changed a lot recently, in the last recent years? Like I know you talked about the 3D, what's happening on the insides? You get your boobs squished and what's happening?
So a 2D image is just it's an image, right? Think about the old films that we used to throw up on the view boxes, that's a 2D image.
Okay.
3D image is now, it has a 2D image, but it also has like imagined slices going through your breast. So the radiologist can actually scroll through and see your breast tissue at different slice levels.
So we have the same thing in dentistry where, traditional x-rays of your teeth,
Yeah.
where we would always say it's like looking at a book and you're looking from the front cover to the back, straight through. Where the 3D is going to let you flip page by page by page. So I have to imagine that's pretty similar.
Yes, that's a good analogy. I like that. Yes. And so it's highly recommended, especially for patients with dense breast tissue.
To get the book.
Yes, the 3D image. You want to flip the pages. Yes.
Yeah.
I guess too, I want to ask, and I don't know if you'll be able to give any information or thoughts, but on the gene testing, is that anything that happens through you guys, or that you see patients that have gone through that, or is that a pretty removed topic?
So that doesn't happen on the imaging side. So
Yes.
So I will say that a risk assessment that I just talked about.
Yes.
So if you are at high hereditary risk,
Yes.
that will be identified on that assessment.
Okay.
The testing of it or the genetic counseling that a patient may need to have, that would happen in our breast clinic,
Okay.
where our breast surgeon is, or we have a high-risk clinic. We have a provider right now coming up from downtown Detroit, Carmanos, who runs their high-risk clinic, and so she's been helping us implement ours because this program just started for us, the high-risk piece of it in June. So that's where we would assess the patients that are identified at high hereditary risk.
Okay, that makes sense.
I was just having this conversation earlier today. I was talking about coming and chatting with you about how Angelina Jolie really put this on the map, this particular gene testing. And just, it's all about awareness, is like what we were talking about. I think anybody that has a platform and can encourage people to learn more and, do these types of things is good. But, maybe it created people had, I need all this gene testing and this and that. And I'm not sure where it landed, but it was a good place to start, I think, to get the conversation going.
Kept the conversation going.
Right.
Yeah, because it's hard to know what the right thing is to do, and do I need it, do you need it, I don't, how do you know?
You don't know until you take this assessment and you find out what your personal risk is. So it's a great tool that McLaren has given to us, essentially, to roll out to our patients. And we are going to be rolling it out throughout the McLaren system now. We were just lucky enough to be the first site.
Nice. We were earlier talking about, and this is a little bit of a jump, but when you were talking about the decorations in the lobby, we were talking about the healing garden.
Oh, yes.
Can we just chat a little bit about that beautiful space?
It is beautiful, isn't it? So you've been.
Yes.
And it was there from the beginning in 2009 with the thought process for, a nice, soothing, healing place for our patients that are seen at the Cancer Center to be able to go and meditate and have some peaceful, quiet time.
So if you have not been to the Healing Garden, you pull into McLaren, and it's on the left-hand side, right? So you can basically park anywhere and then walk across the road, but anyone can go at any time.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, you'll see, staff utilize it, community utilizes it. We see prom pictures happening over there, wedding pictures.
That's beautiful.
I've had my family photos taken over there. There's just some it's gorgeous. And
is
so it's a nice
gorgeous.
addition to our community, and I'm thankful that we were able to get that added to our campus.
Yeah.
It is it's like a hidden gem.
Yeah.
It really is.
You wouldn't just
yes.
happen upon it, right? You
No.
kind of have to know it's there.
Don't tell anyone, but
just delete this part. We'll delete this part.
It's just for us.
That's just speaking of the bigger community, are there ways that our community can get more involved in Breast Cancer Awareness Month, or even with things that McLaren's doing?
Well, internally, we always have a give back to our patients month for October. So the staff puts together baskets. This year we have a couple of fall themed baskets. Some staff members donated some Starbucks stuff. We make some beautiful baskets. Once a week, we pull a patient's name out and give that basket back to them.
nice.
So
Nice.
that's just something internally that we do. From a community standpoint, we used to have, our Football for a Cure games. That was a great way to give back. But really just knowing your breast density,
Yeah.
getting your screenings, that's really what the community can do. If you've had your mammogram, great. Make sure your friends had it. Make sure your moms had it, and talk when you're out with your girlfriends. Make it a topic to talk about. To your point, it is something we can talk about nowadays,
Yes.
right? And we've even talked about at work where employees are like, I don't know what to get my mom. Well, tell her to go get her mammogram. That's that's like a gift,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, thinking outside the box and making sure that we're all taking care of each other, because we get really busy and sometimes our stuff gets put on the back burner.
Absolutely, especially as women, like you were saying, you get
Yeah.
busy, you get taking care of other people, and
Right.
so that's really important.
It is.
And then you're still involved with the chamber, correct? Aren't you on
Yes.
the board?
Yes, I still sit on the board of the
Oh,
chamber.
okay.
Yes, been involved with the Clarkston Area Chamber of Commerce for several years. Like I had mentioned earlier, that's really where I started networking and infiltrating into the community, and have met some really amazing people, some lifelong partners there. And so I'm really thankful for, our partnership with them as well.
Nice.
Absolutely. So before we let you go,
Oh, it's over
well,
already.
actually,
It's so
before we
fun.
do,
We can keep going.
I know. We have lots of time. Can you remind everybody where they can go for more information first, and then just one more reminder about your upcoming event?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
So for more information about receiving your mammogram or McLaren Clarkston, you can visit our website at mclarenclarkston.org. And then our clinical breast event is on October 24th. And you can call 248-922-6635, option 1. We can get you scheduled, and if that date doesn't work, we can be flexible and find an alternate date and time. And also, if it's okay, I mention on our website, we do have online scheduling too. So if you're one that you don't want to wait on the phone,
Yeah.
you just want to
Yeah.
click and get it done at 8, 9 o'clock at night, you're able to do that from our website as well. That's for screening testing only. If you're having any problems and need a diagnostic test, we do need to talk to you for that. But any screening exams we can do online.
Just because we have talked about how just being busy can be such a hurdle to getting this done, I do want to say again, how fast and efficient I feel like you guys are. I mean, every time that I've been in there, I feel like I might be the only one that's, I feel like it's not, you're so used to going to the doctor's office and there's a ton of people in there and you're in the waiting room for a long time. That has never been the case with you guys. I feel like it's so fast, almost to the point where, I put things off too, for sure. And this last mammogram I did, my doctor's office was calling and they're like, you still have it scheduled? And every time I go in, I think, oh my gosh, that was so fast. Why did I push this off? So,
Well, I appreciate you
even I
saying
know
that.
I was
Thank
telling
you.
you before this, but the results came back so quickly. I am somebody that I feel like has a lot of anxiety, and I like things
Right.
done yesterday. I want the answer yesterday. So kudos to you guys, because I do feel like you do a super nice job.
Well, I
So,
appreciate that.
yeah.
Thank you. It's the team, right?
Yeah.
And we
Everybody's
worked really
always very
hard
nice. Yeah.
on our efficiencies and our workflows. We, just implemented that new high-risk platform that I mentioned. So it was, it's important. We look at it. We want to be treated when we go somewhere, right?
Yeah.
We're taking care of our family members, everybody's family to us, right? So everybody's time is precious too. We've said it probably 3 times now. We're all busy, so I don't want you
It's not
having
an
to wait
excuse.
in our waiting room,
Yeah.
right? I want everything in it. There are times where people will wait. If someone
Something
ahead of you,
happens.
something happens. But for the most part, we try to be very efficient, and our radiologists do a stellar job too at getting that study read and getting it out
Are
to the
there
patient.
later hours for some people who can't get there during work hours or weekend ever?
We do have extended hours on Mondays, and then I actually just opened up some Saturday hours today, actually,
Oh.
because it's.
time
You knew Ann was
Did you
going to
know that?
ask.
Yeah. We're just getting really between now and the end of the year, because everybody's met their deductible too. So it's October.
Right.
Everybody's
True, yeah.
awareness is heightened, and then everybody's met their deductible, so they want to come in, and so this is our busiest time for sure. So
Oh, good.
we just opened some up.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
Wow. So
Yes.
before we do for real let you go, maybe, we'll see, we'd like to ask our guests who would they recommend we chat with next.
So lots of people come to mind for me, but one is really at the forefront for me because we just had a meeting yesterday, and it was so inspiring that we have a new CEO at McLaren Oakland, and his name is Lorenzo Suter, and he's amazing. I'm excited for where McLaren Oakland is going to go under his leadership. He's very inspirational, motivating, and he is tenacious for sure. So that would be my recommendation.
Fantastic.
I haven't talked to him or asked him, but
That's all right. He's in. Yeah, this is how this works.
sorry, Lorenzo.
You're committed, and
We have you on
we'll see
our
soon.
schedule.
Yeah.
I think that's a great recommendation.
Welcome to McLaren. Yeah.
Yes, welcome. We're throwing you under the bus.
Oh my gosh, he sounds like a fantastic guest. So
Yes.
we'll hopefully get him.
Well, I'll try to get
join
that connection.
Yeah, that'd
be great.
That'd be
with
amazing.
you guys,
Thank
so,
you.
yes.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so
it.
much for
Yes.
helping
Yes.
us remind people the importance of early detection
Love it.
and promoting the month for us. We really appreciate everything you ladies are doing in our
You're doing
community.
great work
Yes.
too. We appreciate what you guys do.
Well,
So thank you.
Teamwork.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you very
you.
much.
This podcast is brought to you by Independence Television, located inside Clarkston High School. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Independence Television, Independence Township, or Clarkston Community Schools.